Okay. Oh, actually, but that's why we have another like nope, go away. I need to.
All right, there you go. I'm good.
Sounds good. Oh, whoops. I was gonna go back a bit further. That's
That's my
not bad
fucking
start.
go to bed message. I'm pretty sure I did not comment that in the stream. Why was that in chat replay?
Go to bed. No, you were there. I remember. I'm gonna put this here so that I can
Oh,
like
I
draw
didn't realize this was
stuff.
for a tournament match. I thought you were just playing that play.
Oh, well, no, this isn't a tournament match. This is yesterday when I like played a first to 20 with someone.
Okay, okay. It's one of the JP players.
Yeah, I messaged in the 3,300 rating and up channel to be like, I want to fight someone strong, please, please. And someone decided to take me up on it, so we're here now.
Nice.
Oh,
Any
actually,
initial thoughts before the set starts?
um, generally it's just like they were very strong, and I'm pretty proud of my gameplay overall. So it's really just like a matter of where can I pick up. So I'll probably re-jog memory. Oh, hold on. I need to make you real on stream so that people know you're talking.
Oh yeah, that would be
That's
Poggies.
a smart idea. So let me just do that first. Oh, there's the boy. And let's actually move you over.
Yeah.
There we
This
go.
will be good for me too because I might be commentating some Puyo.
Oh, perfect. This will be really valuable.
Yeah, so
Epic.
I need to get back into my let's look at stuff on the board phase.
Yeah. Okay. If there's anything funny, just like yell out. Otherwise, I'm just going to be trying to, I guess, follow the game flow.
So I'm kind of curious how this goes because you see like strong attack there, but like obviously the digs like this I feel like are really hard for most players. So it always surprised me when players from overseas will opt for these kind of digs. Like two trash is kind of really annoying for like build efficiently on.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. This game I was trying to provoke them because I felt that the transition was unsafe. And then I ended up. Did I just not get a blue in time? I think that might have been what it
Honest
was.
blue.
Okay,
I
so
think you just got like unlucky there.
so I want to rewind and just make
Um,
sure that that decision made sense, I suppose. Right, so like, it's because when did I start preparing for an attack? It was around here? Because I saw that they needed two purples and yellows and blues. And here's the thing, if you bury this situation here, right, it's really hard for them to get yellows because then if this spot is nuisance puyos, they need to put like three yellows in column one, which is really difficult. So I feel like it was a
yes,
good attack.
and I think the attack's good. I don't think it blocks off as much as you think it does though,
How much was it worth?
because
3 lines. You go though.
three lines of it's like this right here actually is not that great because when they can still ignore yellow in a way because they can just
Hmm.
build on top even if you get it. And of
Okay.
course, like the double yellow on like Q is like a little lucky,
Yeah.
but even like on a split like this, it's like not honestly that bad to get out of this now.
That's true. I
I
guess.
think
Oh, you go.
I just say I think the idea is good. I think covering column one's the right play.
Hmm.
I just don't think I think three trash is like minimum requirement here for it to be like very detrimental.
Yeah, 3 lines. Okay. Well, I suppose I didn't read the fact that they had a response as well because I was like, oh, three. It would have been 3 rows. In this moment, I thought it was 3 rows, and then yeah, like blue, yellow. I guess they got like quote unquote perfect piece.
Yeah.
But
They got a pretty good response piece.
yeah. So after that, but I guess so that was a fine start. I continued trying to bury them, which I
Actually,
think was good.
can you go back one?
Oh, you sure? No, well, Twitch is going to be a
Uh,
bit annoying about it, but it's only
yeah.
on divorce.
Okay. Right here, I
Here,
actually feel like maybe just sacrificing double red blue for the fault to get the third line is actually might be worth.
sacrificing
So
the
you have double red,
yes,
so like you have a pretty big thorn into two. It's
yeah,
they'll be like covered by two trash right away,
mm-hmm,
with purple, yellow already making it hard to dig out immediately.
mm-hmm,
There's like a world where I could say it's useful because let's say right? Let's say like, even in instance like they get double red here,
Yeah.
that's not going to clear out their column one from 3 rows.
Yeah, that's true.
So I feel like maybe in hindsight, it is one of those. If you look over while your attack is going, just to
Yes.
see what is happening, that then you can actually think to opt for this because your tail will still be fine afterwards.
Mm,
Your GTR is a little floaty, but with like red blue and blue purple, it technically sets up for a fixed GTR. I mean, pretty
that's
immediately.
true. Yeah. So, okay, core idea I want to segue is where would this piece go? Just like really specifically.
Uh, I would put in column four just straight down.
Okay, so you would say go for the two chain.
Yeah, since
Okay.
in my head, the only way they because even if they get double purple or double red, it's not going to clear out column one, and it just makes it
Yeah.
really hard to deal with.
Yeah. Okay. I
And they,
can see why I went for the red blue. It's because I thought because this is a two chain, right? So it has to go one, it has to
yeah,
go two. I think I went for this because I thought it would be faster, but maybe it's not strong enough to justify.
I don't think it's fast enough because you have to think about like the amount of pieces they get to place in between you having to lock in the red, right? That's
Sure.
at least two,
Hmm.
and two pieces is like usually like enough. At least in how I view it in the game to make, oh, they're gonna get up at least through that column. So even
Yeah.
if
Okay.
they don't clear it, they're probably gonna be able to like do something off on the edge.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
And at worst, like a two there will negate their two.
Okay.
So I don't know. I want to say my thought is right. It's more like I can at least see my own process and like why I think might be okay.
Sure. Even just sending with that red yellow might have actually been smart. So put the red here, put the yellow here or something.
Yeah.
So I could follow up immediately. I guess the takeaway here is that it took too long to send up a follow up because it was really fast, but they got that piece like just in time. Because if they had received those two lines, that would have been like probably end of the game for them.
Yeah.
I could just send off main chain.
Yeah, unfortunately, the other yellow just makes it so they can kind of ignore column one
Yeah.
still.
And then here, I think this was the wrong play to because they had fixed their chain. I should have
Yep.
looked at their board and gone, okay, they have a fix. Let's just like convert this to main chain or something. So I was
Mm.
too hasty.
Yeah, because now just they have to get to yellow and then you get to it.
And then this is just like bad because I can't. I guess I tried
Yeah.
tailing. I don't know if it would have
Oh yeah,
worked,
the
but
pillars are off.
that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because even if you set the blue relation, it's not gonna be enough.
Yeah, not
Are they
100% certain.
outworking?
Yeah, yucky awful start. Hello, AJ. Welcome. What did I do here?
Okay, like,
I built
reasonable.
a normal chain because people like to build counter builds, and I'm like, oh, well, what if I don't send it? So then you have a really weird, awkward chain.
Yeah, and your chain is also still reversible too.
Yeah, exactly. I have a lot of options. So I decided to attack with the back of my chain to force them to like respond, and then I remember this was a nice follow up too. Because what I'm seeing is that they can't take any lines of garbage without it being really awkward to dig. So,
Yep.
or even this is like really hard to extend. You know, you need only greens to go here. You can't put red here. You can't put yellow. I mean, I guess you put yellow, but like they can't extend. So I was like, if I force you to main chain now, then I can probably beat it.
Yeah, I feel like they were just opting on the idea that you would just build a counter chain,
Yeah,
and when you
exactly.
didn't, then they're like, "Oh fuck, I'm kind of behind."
I should have added one more extension. I think I thought I had less time than I did. So that's just
Mm.
like a bad judgment.
Yeah, this is oh god, it's actually not gonna be no clear now.
It's pretty
Jeez.
rough. And then I think this
Yeah,
is kind
this
of
is
just like disadvantage and you lose.
yeah, it's unfortunate because I do think you had to lead this round,
Yeah.
and yeah, and
And
just
this
no
is
nice colors to
impossible.
help you out.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's the opening, but what can you do?
Mm.
A very nice tail at least to follow
It's
back up with.
nice, and then they have got a three chain, so I think this is why I start going, okay, I need to respond with something, because they're leaving their key
Yeah,
Puyo out.
well, yeah, and it's like their chain's also still very optimal to main chain to into, or sorry, very easy. Oh, guys, a blue
Hmm.
floor.
That felt really good, I think. Oh, that's right. I remember this round because I had that. That was a perfect response. And then this position, I fumbled it for some reason. I don't remember what I did.
Oh,
I think that's
that's
fine. They
fine.
have like this because
Good
they're
point.
committing to like the purples. They have a two chain. Oh, that. What should I have done before that then? Because this is fine. So I go for this. Great. Was I just too
I'm
greedy?
surprised you didn't
Yeah.
commit to red. Yeah, I was about to say, I was like, I'm very surprised you didn't commit the yellows down.
Mm, okay.
I start to smile.
Nice. Oh, I messed that up. I'm like, I need to bomb this round because I've completely messed up my build. So I tried looking for an attack opportunity, but then they're pretty clean.
Yeah, because the more you build up on this, the more you're just falling farther behind.
Yeah. But they're deciding to play the mid game, so I kind of took advantage of that and tried to like push them out.
It's interesting because I feel like they could have just said, "Oh, your tail's just fucked. You go main chain."
Yeah, but perhaps they just didn't read it. I mean, it sort of as a trick kind of looks like it works, but yeah. And then I'm just like two behind on resources here.
No, I think some people just prefer to play safe rather than sorry.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Um, it's definitely interesting starts to set because I feel like this could be 2-2 right now.
Hmm. I guess if I take a pause here and think about like what I could have been doing better overall before I fly into it, because if I get later into the set, we can pick up on
Yeah,
later patterns. But if I'm playing this game right now, I'm 4 points down. I guess I'm thinking, what should my game plan have? Have I been doing something consistently wrong, or was it just small mistakes each round?
for at the moment after Flores, I think they're all different at the like current state because like
Yeah, same,
round
right?
one was like okay, I just like could be a waking up. You're not 100% on
Yeah,
your damage.
yeah,
I think the only time that I came back up, I think was kind of round three when you're closer to the top, or was
right.
that two or five? I remember. Right, you're trying to juggle out your damage while trying to get to your main chain. It's like you got a little greedy, but
Yes.
I don't know if I would put that in the same category as the first round because I think the contexts are pretty different.
Yeah, so far there isn't any pattern. I just like am getting slightly outplayed, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to confirm that before I move on. Interesting. Okay, we'll see if anything changes. So again, I'm noticing that they have like an attack available, so I'm preparing my own. I wonder if I'm committing too much. No. I think I
Oh,
didn't realize that got to main chain. How hard is that to read? That's kind
kind of
of nutty.
difficult.
That's kind of insane. Oh, because they got yellow green. If they didn't get yellow green, they would not have set this off. Okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of, yeah, I don't know. I don't blame myself for not reading that.
Nah, yeah, that's just a hard one.
It's an author.
Oh, you
Yeah, that was
that
unfortunate with the blues. I almost had it.
yeah.
I don't know if it would have
Also,
been
it
enough.
goes back to like another small misplay.
Exactly.
Like, okay. Oh, this is kind of awkward on the purples.
Yeah, right. So I think early attack is a pretty safe option because generally the opponent has to deal with that same drought
Mhm.
in some form.
Yeah, I agree.
And then I'm sort of like
Interesting.
waiting for them to like do a dig because if you're
Yeah,
here, you have to dig. So then I'm just like attacking them over and over, which works well.
that worked very nicely.
Hmm.
It was a good punish on their mistake.
Hmm.
I do feel like they probably could have tried to punish your lack of purples on the GTR sooner.
That's true.
I feel like they kind of did that thing where it's like, oh, my punch is really far behind, so I can just build whatever I want. It's like that's not the
Exactly.
case.
Yeah, too greedy. Okay, again, that's a five chain, and if you're having to fight a five chain, that's like you need like two four chains to beat a five chain,
Yeah,
which is way too many resources. So I guess my question again is, was I too hasty in my attack here again? So that's my attack, and at this time they have like, let's see, they have a two chain. They can easily make it a three chain. They can easily make it a four chain with the reds. Did it look like they were going to be able to get a five chain out of this?
no.
I guess I couldn't have known.
I think my general rule is like you can't know that. You kind of have to operate that they're probably going to go for full chain
Yeah.
because the only reasonable look you can get in that position is, oh, their main chain is still open, so they might just set off if they have nothing else they can do.
Right. And I think I wanted them to set off main chain. Was it a reasonable play to make them set off full chain? I wonder. If they have this many resources and they were to set off main chain right now, I think I could have probably rebuilt enough to win.
I think so.
So I don't think it was a bad attack either. But then, yeah, I
I
noticed it was
think
a five.
because I think if you realize if you go for the main chain, I think the way you build your trigger is also just different
Mm.
because there's like no way to extend like yellow red without just making it like rotating color.
Oh,
But
yeah,
on like 2-3, like you're just kind of locked into just having to play defense.
that's true.
So I guess another potential takeaway might be just like, did you lock yourself into one option too heavily?
Yes. Yeah, that's a problem I have been having. That was just to be annoying.
Very much. Okay, good.
And then now they have like a lot of garbage on their board. So I technically have more freedom than them right now, and I think I'm trying to see if I can do something about that.
Oof.
Then they're trying to reverse it back onto me, having less options.
Oh, that's a little annoying.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I can't believe he made that dig. It was very well played, but stuff like that where it's like, like I said, it has been hard to read the opponents. Oh, and then guess what happens?
Oh no, I see it. Yeah.
How? When did it happen? I'm trying to think as well, like if this is something I could have spotted. So I'm like waiting, I'm waiting. I put a yellow up there, and then I just like put it in it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, just
Eh.
that drop.
Hmm. It's just like in my head, also trying to think of, in order to like cut less often, you just have to be conscious of the fact that there's a potential cut. So if I'm making a link that's like, it's obvious when it's a group of three because you're like, oh, that can cut. Let's be really careful. But when it's a group of two, you're a lot less conscious of it. So I guess in
Yeah,
this case, it's just like thinking to myself, if I make a link with like two, especially if it's like vertical, because it's very easy to collide with it. If
yeah.
there's a link of two or more, then I just have to make sure that I don't cut,
I
because it's
guess like
very
the other
easy.
question is if okay, no, I was gonna say like were you able to see if it was full chain or not, but like it's very clearly full chain at this
Yeah,
point.
exactly.
So yeah,
So that was just like a misread my own chain. Unfortunate.
yeah,
It's kind of
no.
scrambling.
Yeah, and even if you get the yellows, the purples are kind of fucked
That's
too.
true. Yeah. I guess the idea was okay there though. I annoyed them enough. I got main chain, got them to main chain, and I would have beaten their main chain if I hadn't like cut. I think.
Yeah, no, I think it was you would have won that round. Without the cuts, it does seem like a lot of these small mistakes. I can't feel like they're coming from like trying to keep up speed wise.
Yeah, that's true. So if I actually slow down for a moment, I could make some like better decisions, I suppose.
I think at least when you're at advantage, you get more leeway to be able to slow down compared
That's
to your
true.
opponent. But I think it's also very easy for people to tunnel vision on I have lead. Let's continue with lead. Oh god.
That was nasty. They caught me off guard because what did I do? Again, I locked myself into like having to send this off. Did I misdrop that? I
Yeah.
think I misdropped that because that was meant to be over here, I reckon, and then I could have had
Mhm.
a 2 double, which would have been good. Yeah. Oh, I don't know what that. Oh, that was weird that round. That was weird. I don't know why I did that.
Yeah. I just got really sloppy. I feel like this is the one round where it's like, okay, that was just. I hate saying bad, but like that was just the bad round.
Nah, exactly. That's okay. Next. I think
That's
I tend
unfortunate.
to hold on. Yeah, I get really uncomfortable with these, like this sort of flood. I wonder if there's a way I can build that like is adapts better to floods like that. Let me think. So that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. This piece, I wonder if I can place it better.
Also, I guess it depends. Like, if you're a Thorn
Hmm.
player, I think you can still place it the way you did. Because, like, in my mind, is after like this piece gets dropped,
Hmm.
is it's the way they also use theirs, right?
Yeah, that's
So when they
true.
place their next red right here, I think you honestly, I would try to opt for the Thorn here.
Yeah, because it's just like
But like
it's such
the
a
full
weird
on
tail shape.
Thorn, yeah, because I think if you just use your GTR side, it's actually really annoying on them. This is definitely one of those plays that you only make if you're very used to doing like Thorn and Napalm strats.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
Which,
because like because the best way to describe it is because they've already committed those 4 this early on,
yeah,
the odds of them clearing anything are like super low.
that's
So
a
if you
good
actually commit to
point.
the early Thorn
Yeah,
and they're like and their key GTR isn't done, you can actually have a really good chance of just covering it.
that's a good point. And yeah, this is like really
Especially
awkward. It's like a 3 deep thing now, and so they
yeah.
have to
And
like
I
play
think you
around
get
it.
yeah, it's like you probably get like 5 trash, so the odds of you hitting that are really high.
And then that was like a really good attack from them. I wonder if I could have prepared myself a bit better for that. I guess at this point I should have read the fact that they were going to
Mm.
attack me, and so I could have maybe pivoted somewhere.
Yeah, it's just hard to pivot because once you got rid of your reds early, there's actually like not a lot of fight options you have.
Exactly. I got the green yellow. I guess like, if I had read that, then I could have put green yellow, got a 2 double, and
Mhm.
I probably would have been fine. I just didn't read.
Yeah.
Again, it's just like slowing down. I'm so scared of slowing down because once your opponent gets a resource advantage, especially if they are a like quote unquote better player, it just means that they can like play however they want. It feels like, but if I just slow down for a second and make better plays, I think I can take advantage more often. I'm playing
I
too
think the
fast.
other,
Hmm?
I think it's fixed that. I think the other half is like you're just not. I think you're not used to certain kinds of attacks.
Mm.
So far, a lot of the solutions that have been brought up is like, oh, just 2 double, and that's like I think good to know like that those will work. But there's like a weird hindsight thing. It's like if you're constantly thinking about, oh, I will 2 double every situation,
Mm.
your opponent's also going to think this guy's going to 2 double every
Right, of
situation, right?
course.
So I think a part of it is like you're rushing to be at that point faster because I think subconsciously you realize that they know you're going to try to also get to that point as well. And you're trying to like strike first, which is making you rush more.
Yeah, yep, 100%.
And this kind of comes into like what ways can you throw them off guard? It kind of goes back to like the thorn thing earlier,
Mm.
right? It's like if you had pulled out that option, even if it doesn't work, your opponent still has to think about that option is now on the table, right? Like it is something that you are willing to do.
Right. So I suppose it's just like the idea of like, well, in this instance, I wouldn't have recognized that fact, and it's a
Mhm.
hindsight thing. But in general, I should be looking at, or just like conscious of what attack options, not only that my opponent has made, but also the attacks that I tend to lean towards. Because if they're picking up on my patterns, then the best thing that I can do is a mix up, right? So the things like a
Yeah.
thorn, or here, if I had recognize, oh, I've been doing a lot of two doubles. They're probably going to two double. It's time for me to set up like a three or a four chain instead,
Yeah.
I suppose.
Yeah, like, that's a good way to think about it, right? Because the idea with your bread and butter, right? If it's not broke, you don't fix it.
Yeah.
But eventually, like they're gonna react to it, and the idea is it's like, okay, they're reacting. I throw out new option, but then I go right back to doing the two double.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the fighting terms like about it's quote keeping them honest.
Mm-hmm. That's good. So at this point, there's a pretty big lead made.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of it isn't like by any like not that many like big like glaring like oh I could have just instantly done these better and won these rounds.
Oh, that was a misstroke.
Oh, okay,
that.
that one always the obvious ones, right? But like
And then I won.
otherwise it's been
Oh
very
no, I didn't
like
win.
yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
Yeah,
But it's also like see ironically this is the kind of ghost keep you honest factor, right? Because even though it was a
that's
mistake,
true.
he wasn't ready for it
That's
because you
true.
haven't done that the entire time.
Yeah, that's a good point. I wonder if like, hmm. So we get to this point, and if I were just to set this off straight away, they probably could. Yeah, no, true, because they're committing to so many things over here. That was their problem, and so they couldn't
Yeah.
get all the pieces they needed in time. Interesting. Okay.
And it's just one of those things. It's like you can might even borrow this. That's like they just got so used to that thing they didn't think that this was going to happen.
Yeah, true. That's a good point. So in the future, maybe even think about like just throw out main chains sometimes and see how they react. Okay, interesting. This was nice.
Yeah.
So clean.
Also, you could argue that his attack pattern changed because of that other round, right? Because that was a lot
Oh.
more committal than like
Hmm.
it usually was. Because he was fine with a lot of two doubles, but now it's the three on the double.
Yeah.
Like, and because he's so used to it, he also immediately commits to a link because he's
Mm-hmm.
expecting like a two double fight back and not like
Yeah,
a larger chain.
right. True, true, true. There's a misdrop again.
No, yeah, no, this is like
This is weird
going to
chain.
right side. Yeah, it's almost like submarine.
Right? Raised submarine, I guess. I think I end up making it
Yeah.
work though. I think at this stage though, I recognize that their main chain's not gonna come through because they've made so many weird links on the
Mm,
side.
makes sense.
And then I'm waiting for yellows, but didn't come through.
That might have been a little too committee though on the extension.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, like go back a
Yeah.
bit more.
Okay. Let's see.
Cause I'm like, okay, so you poked a one here. I like on to me, like the right side looks pretty long
Yeah.
for a two double. I actually might have considered not even using a two double.
Oh, huh.
Because like it leads to my mind, right? Like right here you can already see like that's a pretty big pillar.
Yes.
And like it's not the hardest to solve, right? Just it needs to probably just blue. Like it's fine.
I
And
guess
then
it's like,
if you set up like a giant
mm,
yellow red right here with the blue like the hellfire, like he's going to like survive it, right? He'll have a four.
yes. Yes,
Right.
that's true.
And so like it needs to like going further. Because I think you opt for like just a smaller one chain. Because I think after here, like what's the cover? Like so like now you see like yellow's done. The only thing that's like missing
Yeah.
is blue.
What I'm seeing is that I think after this I wanted to be able to main chain because on this part of their chain, you can see it goes blue, yellow,
Yeah.
but the purple doesn't work because this garbage is like here and it will clear. So then this will only be three purples. And even if they
Yeah.
put another purple, then the reds will come down and then the yellows come down. But like his GTR doesn't have a purple. So I was like, oh, I can
Yeah.
just main chain him. I think that's my thought
But
process.
yeah, but pause right here.
Yep.
Right, it's just like if you know that his chain's cut, it's like why even send the two?
I think I was scared of them. Like, if to get here, you would need to attack, right?
Yeah.
That tends to be the way it goes.
I think at that point you just wait for him to attack and just keep extending main because it's not on you to make the move
Yeah,
here.
that's
It's
fair.
more on him.
That's true. Mm. So if I
Yeah,
see a weakness in their chain that feels like they're going to um like do something to fix it, I should wait for them to provoke me before I create a response to that instead of
yeah,
trying to preempt it because it's too dangerous.
yeah. Because like think about all the resources you just used. And now you have to rebuild because like instead of just like if you had just left your blues alive, but we
Yeah.
already can tell this is only going to be red, yellow, blue, and then like maybe they get the yellows because
Yeah.
we know purple break. So that chain will never be full.
Mm.
So that just means you get all the time you want to extend, but when you commit a lot of resources, you're like, oh shit, now I need to rebuild.
So really here, instead of committing to this, I should have just kept extending main.
Yeah, I think extending main is the safer option
And
here.
then maybe keeping like this attack option. Like maybe keep this open so that it's like yeah, I can use it if I want to, but otherwise I
Yeah,
should be using the blues to extend blue to yellow to and so on.
yeah, or even like red, yellow, depending on like what the awkwardness looks like on your chain on the queue.
Yeah, but I didn't need to attack them. That was
Yeah.
unnecessary. Okay, interesting.
I think there's like a point where you have to realize like you're at advantage, so just stay at advantage. You
Yeah,
don't need to like force more advantage, right?
sure. That makes sense.
Because I think attacks like that become a gamble. And it's like, do you need to take that risk?
Yeah, I think a lot of the time I feel like playing aggressively is a good option because I want the opponent to play to my rhythm. But I guess when it the sometimes it is just a gamble instead of it actually being like strictly me taking advantage,
Yeah.
which is what
But
I
I think
think it
sometimes,
is.
yeah, because sometimes like the playing to your rhythm is making them have to make the first move,
That's
and
true.
it's being allowed to just sit there. Oh, interesting tank.
Yeah, I think I realized that they needed a lot of pieces to finish, and so
Hmm.
I went for it.
I like it. That is a weird tail from them, but I think that is pretty clutch fixing.
Yeah, right. No, this was really well played by them. I thought I had advantage, and I was off by just a little bit.
Yeah, I don't blame you for that one. Like that felt like it was really hard for them to fix, and even like the way they fixed it was also really difficult because it required some pretty specific pieces.
Exactly. Yeah. And this is like another case I
Oh,
think where I should have slowed down and just looked at what their options are instead of trying to get them to
yeah.
go.
Also, your tail's like kind of awkward too at the moment.
Yeah.
I don't think your yells work at all.
No, it
Well,
goes
not like
purple,
technically.
yellow, green. Yeah. So it does at the moment.
Yeah, but like prior to like the trip, two extra yells happening, I don't think they was existing.
Hmm.
'Cause now it kind of goes back to I was like looking at my head like, yeah, you needed to add the extra green there, which at least fixed it, but it wasn't there beforehand.
Oh, I think I actually would have won this game, but I remember if this green cuts. Otherwise, it would have been what? This is three, four, green five,
Hmm.
yellow six, purple seven, red eight.
Yeah,
Tiny green
you're
cut, teeny tiny.
yeah. But it was just also hard because your tail got kind of complicated
That's
at the
true.
very start.
I wonder
I don't
where
think you
was it
noticed
from the beginning that I made it
it
weird.
was from the beginning. So at this point, you now have like a situation where like you're trying to either put another green there, you're gonna end up with like you commit to purple on column 6,
Yeah.
which then I think in your head you try to make the correct play, which is okay, green needs to go in 6
Yes,
because I
exactly, because
don't
it
want
comes
this to
afterwards.
power.
Correct.
But after that, you actually I don't think realize that you need two yellows to land on like what you were doing in
Exactly.
your column
It's
six.
kind of just impossible
Yeah,
situation. And then I
because
end up
if yeah, because like right here it's like, oh, you put yellow there, so now your greens don't work until the yellow blinks.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Okay. So I just made some weird choices at the beginning, I guess.
Yeah, and I think unfortunately that weird choice actually makes it so fighting this round is actually a lot harder. I'm not sure if they even noticed,
Yeah.
but
Probably
your
not.
options were actually really cut. I think lower because of it.
Tricky. Huh. I don't know what I would have done instead. I guess I'm putting too many colors into this area.
Mhm.
Because I'm looking at red and green and purple. And then I add yellow to it. It's like I've put all four colors here. I think that, yeah,
Yeah,
it's just too much at the same time.
yeah, it's just either that or you have to accept that you're either doing red green to pop for what's it called? To pop for purple later by like maybe stacking yellows on
Yeah.
top. It maybe gets a bit powery, or you just accept that you're committing to greens. I think committing to yellow on column six is way too
Yeah,
risky.
that was a weird
If
one. Yeah, I should have put this red here, I think. Just completed the
yeah,
reds. Hmm. Okay. And that was close, but yeah. It was because I built a difficult tail that like that cut happened, I suppose.
yeah, pretty rough tail.
Hmm.
Like, I think it was definitely buildable for you, but I think at the speed you're trying to play, that's more the issue rather than the tail.
Totally.
Oh, yeah, this reds are kind of awkward.
I know, right? Let's like get rid of them. Bye.
I have an opportunity where you probably could have thorned there, but I just don't think it's an attack you're used to.
I think so. Oh, and then that red wasn't meant to be there. It was meant to be an attack. Okay, so you're saying Thorn at here? Oh no,
Uh,
hold on. No, I did that one. So then,
back.
where is it? Oh, back further than this?
Yeah. This is like a very weird situation where you actually have a pretty decent like, oh, I could just link my entire one row.
Yeah.
Like it's not going to do any like, well, I would call like super meaningful damage.
Mm,
It's more of a slowdown because you're just gonna try and cover the greens real quick to be annoying.
exactly. Yeah, it would be disruption.
Because you can't do anything with that red, and if you cover the first layer, it's like, oh, his reds are just being used to clear anyways,
Exactly.
and it'll get rid of your conflict on your tail.
That's true. So I suppose. Let's see here. See, that's good. Yeah, yeah. Really, I should just like either clear it straight away, or maybe put
Mm.
them here and then put the red green, and then boom, like I can just start fresh.
Because this is one of those like I would call the good old Western strat. Like this is you don't really see JP players go for Thorn,
Hmm,
but because they're not really used to Thorn, I actually think it's actually pretty good against them
definitely.
if you know how to use it. The issue is like you need to be practiced and like being able to like say like, okay, I can use like 10 Puyo on one chain here and make it meaningful.
Exactly, exactly.
Because a meaningful like Thorn is weird because sometimes it is a pretty big hit, other times it is like just accepting that, oh, I'm going to be behind for a little bit, but I will be in a much better state because of it.
Yeah, that's it. Can I have? Hold on. Just trying to catch myself as well, because I feel like
Mm,
I was pretty smart about it. Where did the red come from?
agreed.
Ah, oh, there.
Mm,
I should have just slapped this over to the left. That's so tricky. It's red, evil red.
yeah.
Because I had this two double, and it was enough, right? Boom.
Yep.
Yeah. Ah. Small things again. That's okay. Hey,
Small
Doug.
things, lots
Welcome
of
on in.
speed. Yep.
The Puyo does never end. I've got so many events coming up. I gotta prepare. That tail was insane. Hold on. You go back and look at this. You're like, whoa, what's going on here? This is so impressive.
We're back to the OG days of just hit that
Boom.
power, baby.
Boom. But the fact it wraps and then like goes under, ugh, that's crazy. Insanity Sylveon, thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. Hope you are well. What else have we got here? Hmm.
That's strong one. Definitely is a little weird to extend right now.
Hmm. I've been waiting for a blue this whole time.
Yeah. I sh- hmm. Well, I should consider attacking with the trigger instead earlier. Well, that might just be personal preference.
Was there a moment earlier? Like, hold on. So I
So here,
so here I'm like waiting for a blue, right? Because I wanna do blue into
yeah,
green into red.
I think here's fine. I think still like you technically could attack with the trigger there,
The
but I don't think you
greens.
need to.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That would have been a
Yeah,
bit hasty. I'm just sitting
I'm
here
only.
cycling.
I might have looked for red green instead to try and set something up, or like
Yeah,
pop blue into green, just because it makes your tail less lopsided.
that's true. Yeah, this is a weird shape.
Yeah, or just like take the two instead of the three, because now it's so hard to rebuild this tail
Yeah.
fast. I think two is fine, or just looking for a trigger instead.
So I think the key here was that I was just tunnel visioning, waiting for blues for so long. And to be fair, I guess they kind
Yeah,
of got stuck here too. That's why they built this funny little construction. But
yeah.
yeah,
So
I
like
couldn't
right
follow it
here,
up.
if you don't put the green on top, like it's just nicer.
Yeah, exactly. Hmm. Yeah. Now that got really awkward really quickly. And they go main, and then I don't know what I'm doing here.
Yeah, it is one of those. It seems like the tail just got too lopsided.
Exactly. Made it really awkward.
Okay, man, pretty big.
I think I was trying to bury them. Yeah, no, that ended up working pretty well.
Yeah, very good. Nice mix up of an attack, so something they weren't seeing as much still.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. They didn't have as much available. Weren't really expecting it. So like there was a fair bit of like poking to make them try and set a full chain early. And that was a bit of a weird situation where I was waiting for reds. So I needed to clear this.
Yeah, as well as I feel like you did everything you could in that spot, and it's more of should I was there any way to avoid being in that spot?
Hmm.
Unless like 'cause I think the decision making was kind of like fine when you
So
were in
this
it.
is good. And I'm like extending on the right now, which is fine.
Uh, I actually would have maybe it's one of those things where it kind of goes back to like smaller pokes up versus clears for like one chain clears. I
Hmm.
think if you want to clear like just a small row of greens, I think at that point maybe you just could think about like if you commit that damage anywhere else.
Whereabouts are we looking? So if we're here.
Like here's you technically could put like the yellow on the other side and look
Yes.
for red yellow, like look for stack greens because you know even this you can like stack the green double green onto like column two
Hmm.
and do a big one clear into 2-3.
Yeah, right.
I don't know if that saves you, but at least doesn't put you in the same spot you were in before.
That's true. At this stage, they do have like a 3 chain, which they can very easily connect, and then it would be 4, 5, and
Yeah,
6. So I think I'm just trying to get them to stop because they have a massively like this turned into a 15 chain all clear, right? So I think I'm
yeah,
scared of the fact that their chain is so efficient. So I'm attacking them to try and like decrease their chain length, their max chain length.
yeah. I think it's one of those times where like now you hit the like point where like thorns just aren't as helpful unless like they're well timed or if they're intentionally like much bigger.
Yeah, true. They also got pretty lucky with that. That double
Yeah,
green, then the yellow blue. So I guess like there's not much I could have done to anticipate that bit.
yeah.
And then I probably didn't really clear that.
Like, it's okay.
Yeah, like that's enough to like stop them. They had to set this off. But I probably again, if I had just sat and waited for a second, I'm too impatient. I throw stuff out too quickly, which works against the Western players because I guess I'm fast in terms of Western players. But if I'm facing these players, I need to think more.
It definitely is a mix of I think what you are used to working versus oh God, wait, this doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Because right now I feel like this set lead is probably still in their favor given like what has happened so far.
Mm,
But I feel like it should be closer.
yeah,
I feel like this could be like oh, I feel like this could be like an 8 12 kind of set right now.
right.
Okay, that works out.
That was a good catch. Yeah, they needed a few too many resources.
I do want to watch a few more. Actually, I feel like the attacks are starting to come in much later for you now,
Mm,
but I don't know if that's true or if I'm just it's just like the current trend of rounds.
let's see. Yeah, I think I'm focused. I think that 15 chain Oakley kind of scared me, so like I'm very main chain focused right now. Well, except for here, I'd go for this attack
But
and
it's still like a small two
catch them.
double comparison to your others,
True, yeah.
but
Less
it's
condition more, I
working.
guess, right?
Yeah, which is still an adaptation, so it's good.
That's true. Now all clear.
Right, they feel very horizontal.
Yeah, I think I just wanted to like have a quick response because again, when you make a 5 chain, that's like when chains becomes so much more powerful. So a 4 chain does not
Yeah.
stop it. Then I have advantage, and then I think that was an accident. It was really awkward,
Mm.
but it works. So like
Yeah. Ironic.
smile.
Yeah. Ironic. I think they built horizontal because you built up like a regular chain the first dog player. So I think they tried to adapt to that by just building a regular chain
Mm.
themselves, not realizing that you were shook from the other stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, tough trigger.
Small.
Yeah. I feel like they probably could have poked you sooner.
And then I think I noticed that the chain doesn't finish, so I just need to like get my resources together.
And she awkwardly buried, unfortunately.
Yeah, this is just sad. Yeah, they followed up well.
They did. And unfortunately just couldn't get your color that you needed.
Yeah.
Okay. You're trying to go for thorns, which I think is interesting. I also just find it interesting they're much smaller than you would see like the normal thorn usage.
Yeah, they're not super powerful. I think just because they're meant to be like small disruptions instead of like 2, 3 line thorns, which are like really annoying.
Yeah, I don't think you just need to go for 2 or 3 lines. I think line and a half is the comfy zone for thorns.
Yeah.
Oh, guys, it's the fucking sub. Let's go.
Heck yeah. I was like, it's what happens when I have too many of the same color. It's like I have so many blues here. I think sub is a pretty good option for that. Kind of
Yeah,
work
I
around
still
that.
love submarine.
It's so good. Very good form. Here's
I
me
think it's
waiting for blues,
underrated.
and then I explode myself because I didn't get a blue.
You were close. Maybe you could have gone for it,
I wonder
actually.
if I would have been able to.
Because
If
you
I
put
had placed
yellow
this
down.
piece, if I had put that there, that piece needs to still fall down. Yeah, I think I could have
Yep.
gotten it in time. Done. Oh, was
I think you
I?
still get it in time to.
Maybe I was meant to rotate that. Because
Yeah,
that went in the wrong way. If it was the other way, it would have been perfect.
yeah, I think the other way you still get the piece in time on that
That's
play.
true. Ah, I guess we can call that a misdrop round. Because
Or
my
just like
option was
not
there.
realizing you were still alive.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard when the games become much faster paced than what you're used to.
Yeah. So many purples.
Yeah, I think he. It's weird. I feel like he actually on Orion maybe can consider trying to look for more bigger thorns, but that might just be a playstyle thing
Hmm.
versus like if you actually really want to do
If
that.
it was necessary or not, yeah.
Yeah, because I think it's like kind of goes like different types, like different like if you want to clear up big groups like that, it really is just preference.
Yeah.
Is this is that a misdraw?
Yes, definitely. Now I had to build this really awkward shape. It barely even works.
No, it's unfortunate.
That's okay. I think I ended up like almost completely making it work, which is nice. It's still a pretty bad chain, so
It's yeah, it's surprisingly functional.
it's because the opponent let me get away with it, though, definitely. Like, if they had poked me,
True.
I would have just died. Did I end up winning with this? I think I might. It's 88k, which is like more than a 14 chain, which is surprising.
Yeah. I think it's the notion from some Japanese players is that they're I think a little too willing to let Western players just build some random shit that they don't know what it is.
That's
'Cause I think
true.
they just rely on like, oh, we just build more efficiently.
Yeah.
And I feel like there has to be a point of being like, oh wait, I don't know what this does. Maybe I should react faster to this.
Yeah, yeah. I guess it's less early punishments, it feels like,
Yeah.
from them.
I noticed that when I was playing people like Toyota and Mr. R,
Mm.
because there was a few sets where I was like, I would not do well against Void, but if I played versus Toyota, Mr. R, and a couple of the Japanese players, I would be
Uh-huh.
doing really well.
Yeah, right.
I think a lot of it's just like I don't build like the other US players. I'm playing Slug right now. I'm playing like
Right.
really weird submarine,
True.
and they like let you build for free because I'm building something weird. I just get rounds for it. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
but it's just a common trend.
Then I was waiting for
Um,
blue. Green's going
yeah,
away.
I think we're entering the phase where like you're trying to play even faster now, and it's making you like sloppier.
That's true. Yeah, because a lot of the time I was just like misdropping.
Yeah, like, a lot of misdrops now we're going to like other forms. So I don't feel like are intentional. Or it's not entirely.
Yeah, yeah. I start building weird if I'm like under pressure sometimes.
Yeah,
3 line thorns. So speaking of the thorns, at least I
yeah,
got
there
a
we
good
go.
one in.
That's true.
I threw them off
But
guard.
it's true because they're not reacting to you building differently, and it's hard for me to tell if they just don't know how to react to it or if they just don't respect it.
Yeah, it might be a matter of like it's easier if I just keep doing what I'm doing, even if they're building weird. because I can still like react to it if I'm have a strong form myself. Like I feel that sometimes even when I play against people who build wood forms, I'm like, okay, if I still do my usual GTR and stuff, I can still react to anything that they throw at me.
Yeah, makes sense.
I think it really was coming down to like catching them off guard a few times here.
Yep. And I feel like that is like kind of what playing the
And then I
GT
got one
players
six.
the classic, dude, classic fucking
Hate
change. This is why
it.
I'm the most toxic player player, honestly.
Oh,
Yeah, I hate 160. It makes me toxico.
who the one? Oh, 1/6.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
gotcha. And I'm just sitting here crying.
yeah, this was painful. You
It's
had like
okay. I
one
got a blue
out and
purple.
then rough.
And then I
Yeah,
forgot about my blue because it caught.
unfortunate. Yeah, I think feeling like you're doing your own thing is totally fine. I think there's like a level where you eventually have to like, oh, I can't just do that anymore.
Yeah.
Oh God, we fit weird sub territory now.
Yep.
Which is like this form tail form is actually super doable for sub still. It's just funny because I don't know how often you build this kind of form.
It's like an every now and then thing. Like I'll just throw it in sometimes, but
Yeah, because like the tail you have on for your sub is like not that uncommon. It's just really hard to build if you're not used to it.
I think the issue is that like it's so easy to cut, and it's like I hate
Yeah,
like being so vulnerable. So I got rid of it so that the purples wouldn't cut. But then like it left my chain in a really like unstable place. So I had to like play this mid game out for a while,
yeah. I do
which
think finest making
worked.
here is at least the right play.
Yeah.
When you're like, oh, my chain kind of sucks, like stability wise. I think you just eventually have to just constantly commit.
Yeah, you do a bit of dismantling. Just waiting for yellows.
Mm. Well, we're definitely slowing down from it too, at least.
Yeah. And that was bigger than I expected. And that was good.
Yeah, now you're starting to put on the pressure. I'm curious on why they start slowing down so much.
And
Their
that board
digs are
chain was
still very strong.
wild. I didn't get my yellow in time.
That's a blue.
And then that's like a really huge thing.
Oh yeah.
And then I'm just like so down on resources.
It's you're kind of both really awkwardly fucked.
Yeah, our chains in this final round were like, what is going on? It was a pretty neat round actually, just because we were doing so much like crazy weird stuff. But
Oh yeah, no, I like this round. Like it's fun to see weird stuff like this. Unfortunately, I got like a GTR technically
yeah, and then I
by the
accidentally. Ah,
unfortunate. This was a weird set
right?
because I feel like your back half or your front half was actually a lot cleaner than your back half. But you got most of your points in your back half, which I feel like came a mix from like adapting, like just in different attacks and trying to figure out something else.
Hmm.
And then like I feel like nice opportunistic, like, oh, oops, I had to do something and it just worked.
Yeah, right. It doesn't feel like I earned those points because I was strictly playing better. I just played different. But maybe that's still something to take away. Like I should just be actively trying to mix up my gameplay more often. Because I guess in that first half I was playing like very much the same. Like you said that you picked up on I was like two doubling a lot and I was building my chain certain ways and blah 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 blah. But like because I wasn't mixing it up, it was very easy to fall into a rhythm of like my opponent can get away with doing this, and then I I just don't have a response a lot of the time. And then later, I built weird, and they didn't have a response because they weren't ready for whatever weird stuff I was pulling out.
Yeah, and you kind of like can see the parallels when like people in the Western scene complain like, "Oh God, dude, I hate playing this person because I don't know what they're doing. They just get lucky."
Yeah,
But it's
yeah,
not
yeah.
really like it's like they're just building weird. They don't know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
You sometimes you have to bring out like air quote the brain destroyer like mix up.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? It's like you do your same mix up consistently, and you're like, okay, well, what's the fucking? There's a really good like Northern Lion clip about like fighting games
Oh,
where it's like, yeah, technically he's not even playing a fighting game, well, but people really like to reference this clip
okay.
because uh the way so basically he's trying to strike someone out, and the what's it the Switch like mini game thing it has like this little baseball game.
Hmm.
I'm just gonna post it in Discord.
Okay.
Why not? Because like I actually think it is a very good clip for the like context of like how to mix up a player
Mm.
because he kind of talks about like the player is basically just falling for the same slow curve.
Fourth pitch when he's swinging. Give him a slow curve outside. Then go back to the well, and then just keep throwing the same thing. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You just keep hitting them with the slow curve. Now he's like, okay, I knew he was gonna throw that. Now he's gonna mix it up. Nope, gonna throw the exact same thing because I know you're gonna swing. Now he's like, now he's gonna throw the same thing, so I'm not gonna swing. That's where you hit him with a fastball. Okay, and then he's like, I don't know what the happening. The brain destroyer. Then you throw him the whole bread and butter, and you know I saw it coming from pitch one. From pitch one, I saw it coming. There's nothing you can do about it.
That's yeah, no, that's a really good illustration of how to I guess keeping the opponent on their toes, like keeping them honest, like you said,
Yeah,
that's a big thing I should be taking away from this.
yeah, because that's pretty much the best. I think one of the best takeaways because like the entire concept of that video is you found the option your opponent is falling for,
Hmm. Hmm.
and you want to pressure them out, but eventually, right, they roll depth. They're not going to swing at it,
Yeah.
and because they're conditioned to no longer swing, that's when you throw in the mix up, and then they're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, now we're changing up, and it's like, oh. And then the air quote brain destroyer is just like now that they're too busy trying to focus on like the obvious stuff, you
Hmm.
can kind of get away with something cheeky. And even if you don't get away with it, they still have to like be aware like, oh, that is now a very weird option they will do. And then you go back to reliable, right?
Yeah,
Because like they're no
exactly.
longer right, and then you repeat it's just like constantly going back to slow curve.
Hmm. So I guess it's like keep those reliable, strong options in your pocket to fire at any given time, but make sure that your mix-ups are happening every now and then so that eventually you can come back to that reliable option and it will hit as strong as ever instead of hitting like weaker than usual because they've gotten used to it. So don't let them get used to your reliable options, I guess.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Because because I used to think a big takeaway from the first half of the set was, you had your slow curve
Hmm.
with the like two doubles,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
it was only the slow curve, right? Like there
Exactly.
wasn't like, let's say air quote I'm gonna say for like just examples, like the fastball would be like a five chain,
Hmm.
right? But it's like you technically had those, but they weren't like they didn't feel as intentional as the two doubles.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think getting that to intentional is like probably the next step in your game plan. So where you can more easily opt for either or.
Hmm.
Because I know, there's a few Japanese players, right? They're like, okay, they build two double, but then they're like, okay, never mind. I'm gonna make this a five chain instead.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's probably like the next long term adaptation. But at least at the moment, it's like, okay, I need something to go just as reliable as my two double.
Yeah.
But and then like eventually, you find your really weird strat that like people just fucking hate.
Exactly, exactly. And destroy their brain with it.
Yes.
Okay.
It's kind of yeah, it's such a weird one because like what you consider like your slow, your curve, and your fastball is probably the easiest pick, but whatever you just pick as like this is just like my option. I don't think anyone will ever see coming or react to.
Yeah.
Is a lot harder because I think that one's just so. I don't call that one the play style dependent one because everyone like in fighting games or competitive games like knows like how to do like basic neutral, right?
Of
Like,
course.
oh, this is how I do a poke. This is
Mhm,
how I
mhm.
do like a reversal.
Right.
But it's very hard to figure out like this is my go-to, like they're never gonna see it coming, reliable. I can just break this out at any moment kind of option. Whether it's like
Yes.
a character, Puyo chain, or like a move.
So I guess one thing that I could benefit from as well in that regard is mapping out what are my common patterns um within each game so that I can look at, hey, these are my reliable options, and then think about, hey, what are my mix-ups? And then if I can specifically practice those techniques individually, it'll be easier to put them together in a real game when I go, oh, actually, I need to do a mix-up now, and then I can pull from one of the things that I've practiced as a mix-up.
Yeah.
So it's just being really explicit about the choices that I'm making. Like, oh, I'm doing two doubles now, or I'm attacking with a 5-chain now, or I'm just gonna go full main chain. Okay.
Exactly that.
Mm-hmm.
This is something I do with the Unite team I'm coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when I'm down watching VODs, I look at basically whatever happens are repeating.
Right.
I think I spent like 3 weeks telling them to just constantly do this one strat because like I guess because we're talking about it. Basically one thing the team would do
Mm-hmm.
was, or they wouldn't do at the time was in Unite there's like two early creeps to spawn.
Yeah.
I call them the safe creeps because they're behind your tower.
Sure.
But depending on like your lane Pokemon, you can actually just skip them
Okay.
and you can go immediately to the middle creep. And the middle creep is very important because it's the one they want you to test over in the game.
Right.
They give you two creeps behind the tower. You could both get two creeps next to the tower,
Yeah.
but there's only one in the center. And that one in the center, right? If you get it, you go back to your two safer creeps, and then you go back and get your safe
Of
creep.
course. Right.
Right? And then you're already at one like hit advantage.
Yes.
And I think I spent like 2 weeks being like, okay, you're just doing this. W didn't do it this game, too bad. Go back and do it, right? Like it's being able to catch like when you set a goal for yourself
Mm-hmm.
for the learning a new mix up to tell yourself, oh, I still need to keep doing this mix up a lot of the time. Like there might be a set where like you might not even do two doubles in practice because you're only going to be looking to do 5-chain attacks to get
Yeah.
used to the game.
But the idea is that you have that option available if you need to pull from it, I suppose. And that you're
Yeah,
able to confidently do that.
exactly.
Hmm.
And I think it's easier said than done because I think when you're trying to get a let's say like I just like let's use toolkit and like your arsenal like
Mm-hmm.
let's say like your two double is like this is your S tier move, right?
Yeah.
We'll go for like your 5-chain attacks. Like we'll say like they're A tier.
Mm.
Trying to move something from A tier to S tier is really hard, right? Because
Totally.
you're basically saying like this is now one of my finest points of the game, and I'm taking a fine point and making it even finer.
Right. Of
And that,
course.
that can be that could just be super hard to do at any point because it's like what was it? Because it's very easy to get, I think, a concept of something and how to technically do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's another thing to sit down and think about how to make it. I don't even sure the best way to describe it. Like you're taking it and putting it in such specific spaces that there's almost like a math to it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that can be very reach restricted. It's like, oh, what do you mean? Like if you just see the opportunity for it, right, you should go for it. And so weirdly enough, like not always the case. Like, sure, there might be times where like, oh, this feels really good. I should just do it, right?
Mm.
But in the long term, there becomes am I giving my opponent too much information, or should I just be constantly doing this one thing?
Sure. Okay. I guess it's about being precise with your moves.
Yeah, being precise is very hard.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because yeah, like you said, it could look like, oh, an option is open, I should go for it. But really, you have to evaluate like whether it's worth pulling that move now or should I save it for another opportunity. Or just like refining a skill so that you don't have to just look for opportunities for it to come out, but they can kind of you can kind of autopilot that decision and it just like makes sense in your head without having
Yeah,
to reevaluate every single time you come across it.
exactly. And that I think that becomes like one of the harder parts for players. Like
Mm-hmm.
it, I would say to mid to high level because it feels very weird to take an option. You're like, oh, I can just do this, but now suddenly I really can't just do this.
Exactly, which is weird.
Yeah, right. It's not intuitive. I think is the best way to describe it.
Definitely.
And the next question is like, okay, how do I make this suddenly be intuitive?
Yeah, you have to like you learn a skill, you get really good at it, and then you have to step back and sort of unlearn it a little bit and then relearn it. And then when you've relearned it, you're better at it than when you went through that first learning phase. It's like going through a second learning phase of the same technique.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like when you get to that second phase, I think it can be very demoralizing because you're basically handicapping yourself in practice
Exactly.
until you're used to it,
Yeah.
and that's never fun.
Yeah, it feels weird because it's like, oh, I can do better than that. But ultimately, you have to look at the long term investment. Tricky. That's really tricky.
Yeah, but I think it's one of these once you get it down, it does feel really good.
Yes.
But because you have to get down right, it's not gonna feel good at the
No,
exact moment.
exactly. Yeah. And I suppose the other difficult thing is identifying which techniques you or moves you want to do that with. Because you can't do them all at once, right? You have to choose like one or two things that you want to take a step back from and relearn.
Yep.
So I guess my next job is to figure out exactly what those one or two things are going to be so that I can start putting intentional practice into it. Because otherwise I'm a bit
Yeah, and
directionless.
I guess because right now, right, your big focus is like, okay, my speed is the strongest. And I don't think you can even say like we really have to like you probably need to practice speed as much as you just need to practice other skills that will eventually translate into the speed.
Into it, exactly. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Which is something I've been so concerned with. I guess also in the set, the other big thing that I was pointing out was that I just need to sit and think more sometimes. Like I don't
Yeah.
need to rush so much into like particularly in initiating things. I think I'm so used
Mhm.
to again, I talked about this during the review, but I was saying, oh, like against Western players, a lot of the time, if I initiate, I can then like determine the course of the rest of the game because I'm the one who took charge. But that's not going to work against higher level players because they will be able to make a defense that is stronger than my initial provoke, and then they flip the script and I'm the one who's playing defensive now. So I just need to like step back and slow down even in the middle of games to like quickly evaluate the situation and be confident in my evaluation before I make a move.
Yeah, that's always a tough one too, because it kind of go back to what we were talking about earlier in one of the rounds, right? It was like sometimes having some advantage is just enough advantage to win. You don't need to like always extend it to even more.
Exactly, right? Which is such a difficult line to ride because you're like, oh, if I attack now, then they will just lose this round, right? But it's a gamble sometimes to go for that option. So sometimes it's not worth.
Yeah, and that kind of comes down to like, what do you want to do, right, with that
Yeah,
situation?
that's it.
Because technically, you could, just be like, okay, I have done it. I've decided that this is what I'm just doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that just ultimately becomes very hard because, like, I guess in theory you could also, and if you decide to like go into matches, right, and just be like, okay, I'm just only gonna try and win on like what I feel like is a slight advantage.
Mhm, mhm,
But
mhm.
like, what is that? What does that entail, right? It's like,
Yeah, how do you measure that?
yeah, and I think that's pretty difficult.
Particularly with Puyo because there's so many different factors. Like with chess, we can do evaluation bars. With Tetris, you can look at, well, like with NES Tetris, they have like pace indicators of score and things like that. And
Yep.
in general, Puyo is just so much harder to evaluate at a moment's notice that you have advantage. I guess for me, the recent way of measuring that is, do I have more resources? Which comes down to speed. But if I only rely on having more resources being an advantage, then I'm doing myself a disservice because it is not true that having more resources will always be beneficial. Sometimes it's just
Yeah,
about having a stable board state more than anything.
that's also true. And it's like that's also in its way like hard to determine, right?
Yeah,
Because like, yeah, because it kind of goes back to, okay, so it's not about the resources, right? It's how you use them.
exactly.
But what is using them at that point too is like,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And sometimes you have to not use them, and that's actually the better play. And it's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to play this game.
yeah, and it's one of those I think you will eventually get used to, but I don't think at the moment it's it's weirdly hard to
It
process.
is. I don't think any of the top players outside of Japan really have a good way to measure measure advantage. I should probably talk to some of them about it and see if they have any ideas. Particularly, I'd be curious about people like Akliv,
Yeah,
because I don't get to hear much about his like mental, what he is mentally going through when he's playing these long sets. So I should ask him about it sometime. But yeah, in general, it feels like that's one of the things we're kind of missing in this community at the moment is how do we evaluate advantage? Even as commentators, you can say, "Oh, it's cool that this person has done a thing," but ultimately, we still don't have like the tools to measure that.
yeah, and eventually, you will have to, and then it's like, oh,
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Jeez.
I think it's also just intimidating thing to do too.
Yeah, because it's like it's just a complete unknown. There's no way. There's nothing for us to start with when it comes to measuring stuff like that. It's a new endeavor.
Exactly, and I think when endeavor like that becomes new, all you can do is just like, unfortunately, throw darts at the board sometimes and
Exactly.
see what sticks.
You know, it's really fascinating that this conversation came up again because actually, this is really funny. Yesterday, I was having a similar conversation. It wasn't about my own gameplay, though, it was about observation in general. We
Mhm.
were talking about how do we help spectators understand who is in the lead. But actually, answering that question will also help answer the top players' questions of how do we get advantages over each other. Because if we know how to describe that to the spectators, then we'll know how to do it between each other. So it feels like it's actually a skill that's becoming really, really important. Like it's coming up everywhere now, and we need to like work together on it to push this community forward. I think it's like a pretty big question mark at the moment.
Yeah, I think part of the issue is to know what resources mean like an advantage. That also requires you to know like how they even got into that position to begin with.
Yeah, like so much context, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
context, and it's also like, how's this way to put this? context, but also being able to see the options within that said context.
Yeah.
Because like you can always be like, oh, they made the right move here, but what does that mean?
Exactly. Exactly.
And for most people, I don't think they know what it means.
It's just like turning stuff that's not intuitive into stuff that, you know, is intuitive. So difficult.
So I think it requires players to know how, or commentators to know how to play the game
Yeah.
at more level than I think they're used to. And unfortunately, I don't think that is usually the case. Because I think like because most people who commentate, like I don't think they're bad. I think they're like generally like okay.
Yeah.
But I would not be like, oh, they are high level.
Mm-mm-mm.
Right? It kind of like is an issue in every game.
Hmm.
I don't think it's one that's easily addressed either.
No, exactly. It's gonna take a lot of thinking. Okay. Well, I think that gives me a few good loose ideas to like stir in my mind at the moment. I'm definitely gonna need to do more thinking about it. But I think overall this has been quite enlightening. So thank you for your time, Riley. I appreciate it. I'm thinking I'll probably grab dinner because it is getting late. So good time to wrap it if works for you.
Yeah, it works for me. It is 2 a.m. for me,
Yeah.
so I do need to sleep. I'm down to do
Exactly.
more reviews
Amazing.
throughout the week, or even like watch ranked and then give input or like something
Yeah,
player related.
anything. Exactly. I'll definitely be. I mean, you can see, maybe if you've seen my stream titles, I'm counting down to that big event. So I am going to be doing a lot of training. Tomorrow, I'll probably be back on doing more sets and things like that. And then we'll have more review material, and we can just keep doing cycles of this and hopefully pick up on things as we go.
Yeah.
So thanks for your time. Appreciate it, friend.
Of course.
You're epic.
Anytime.
I will,
You're
of course,
epic.
be doing more. Oh, no, you. Doing more Super Mission Dungeon in the mornings. So if you're around for that, feel free to jump in.
Yeah, I'll definitely try to when I can.
Epic. Well, friends in stream, I know it's been a pretty quiet time. Well, we've just been like kind of yappy, but hopefully this has been interesting enough. Or maybe it's just good background noise to hear us droning on. But thanks for being here, everybody. Oh, I didn't even see Jolla messaged earlier. Funny video. Good funny video, but also very it was a good commentary on how to handle like mix-ups and things, definitely. All right. Well, as I said, friends, tomorrow back with more super, and then later in the day I'll continue with my Puyo grind. So I'll catch you guys there for that. For now, should we find someone to raid? There's usually like no one to at this time of day, but let's see.
Yeah, it is kind of a little late for the main audience of Twitch.
Exactly. So difficult. Let's see. Categories. I don't know who this is. Maybe I can rate them. Let me put that other tab. There's some people here. Oh! I know this person. I might just rate them because I know them.
Yeah, go for it.
Cool. Oh, yeah. Good thing I was already on mute.
Yeah, these ads out of my face.
Yeah, honestly, right? Alright, friends, I want to pass you over to someone that you might know and you might not know, but either way, say hi, give them some support. And for now, as always, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day or night. Love you guys, and I will see you all next time. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Oh, see you, Malachi. Sorry. You just said hi. We're ending the stream.
Oopsie.
We'll catch you next time.